Good morning and welcome to the First Unitarian Society of Madison. My name is Kelly Crocker and I'm one of the ministers here. Today I'm joined by my colleague, the Reverend Kelly Asprooth-Jackson, and by the worship team of Melissa Adams, Linda Warren. It's okay, everybody. Linda's back. Stephen Gregorius and Daniel Carnes. Many thanks to our cherubs and choristers for being with us and for gifting us with their beautiful music today. Thank you. At First Unitarian Society, we question boldly, listen humbly, grow spiritually, act courageously, and love unapologetically. If you're visiting us today, welcome. We're so very glad that you are with us. If you'd like more information about the congregation, please stop by the welcome table that is located in the Commons. It is through the doors to your right. It's next to the elevator. And we do hope you'll be able to stay and join us for coffee hour immediately after service, which is also right out here in the Commons. For those of you connecting with us virtually today, welcome to you as well. We're so very glad that you are with us. We hope you'll be able to take some time to watch the announcement slides immediately after service to find out more about what's happening here at First Unitarian. A thank you to all those who volunteered this morning. Our greeters were Ann Smiley and Eileen Callahan. Our ushers are Nancy Daly, Mart Schweitzer, and Bev Dussault. In the kitchen, making our coffee, Bisnitsky, Sue and Jim Wilson, and Isa Garusi. And our lay minister is Lois Evenson. Thank you all. In honor of the 75th anniversary of our landmark meeting house, the Friends of the Meeting House will be offering a free tour during coffee hour following today's service. You can meet in the landmark lobby after service. You can also look for Cherry, who will be in the Commons with the sign that says tour, and you can gather near Cherry and she will take you over to the meeting house. If you cannot make a full tour this morning, but you would like to learn more about that remarkable building, there are beautiful displays set up along the loggia that talk about the history of the building. They have some incredible photos. And so if you have a moment after service, head on over to the loggia to see those. Also after service today, members of our climate action team and the environmental justice organization Faith in Place will be hosting a postcard writing party immediately after service right out here in the Commons to help us raise our voices to ensure that AI data centers here in Wisconsin pay their fair share for the energy they use. And at 12:30 today, it's a busy day here at First Unitarian Society. We got tours, we got postcards, and in classrooms A and B, the Racial Justice Ministry team is hosting Rick Bernstein, Executive Director of the Dane County Historical Society, who will speak about the history of racial covenants in Dane County and share images from the Historical Society's educational exhibit. This event, it's called Unjust Deeds, 12:30 A and B. If you're wondering if there is one of these racial covenants on your property, you'll be able to look and see and find out and do something about it. One last announcement, I promise. This Friday is our Valentine Jazz Soiree. Tickets are still available. It's going to be a wonderful evening. Cheryl Mellentine is here today. If you have any questions about the event, if you'd like to volunteer at the event, Cheryl is here, and tickets are available. We hope that you will join us. And now, I invite you to join in a moment of silence as we center ourselves and bring ourselves fully into this time, joining together once again in community. These words from Kenneth Patton, who was minister here from 1942 to 1949. Let us indicate a new shape of fellowship. Let us demonstrate a new kind of unity.
We have learned that people work together in consideration and loyalty while still seeking after truth.
Discoverers have a common purpose in their adventures. They can be joined together in becoming.
Disagreement among those seeking the truth is a blessing greater than the agreement of the assured.
We have been warned against leaving the temples of our upbringing.
But we have discovered that every temple in which human beings have worshiped is also our temple, if we enter it in the spirit of a common search for the goodness of life.
The search for goodness is a human search. It rings with the same resonance of purpose and longing, whatever the local dialect and the tribal speech.
All the people of humanity are our family and the cohorts of our common faith.
We have not left our homeland, for all the earth is our country, and all the roads are streets of one town.
If all people will search together for the truth in freedom and respect, they will not only find the truth, they will also discover one another.
And we invite you now to rise in all the ways we do, joining in our words of affirmation as we light our chalice. Let this light be a symbol of all the sources of our spiritual inspiration, the direct experiences of transcending mystery and wonder, which open our hearts, renew our spirits, and transform our lives. The sacred, secular, and scientific understandings that help us make meaning and live into our values. Grateful for all that moves us, mindful of the ancestries we inherit, and enriched by the diversity of our faith, may we ever deepen and expand our wisdom. And before we join together in song, we invite you to take a moment to turn and greet those around you.
And now if you would please stay standing and open up your hymnals to page 308 and join us in our first hymn, The Blessings of the Earth and Sky.
With grace its every part.
And I invite anyone who'd like to come on up to the carpet for our story to come on up. Hi, Ada. Morning. Hi, Teddy. That's such a big smile this morning. I love big smiles in the morning. How's everybody doing? Good. Good. Teddy, you good? Good. Hi. Here we come. I feel like we need like a come on up to the carpet song that we sang or something. So that song we just sang, in case you didn't know, about Upon Our Friendly House. Anybody have any idea who that song was written for? Oh, hang on. Let me call upon Dave Weber. Hey, Dave. Dave, us. That song was written for us. So when I said this morning, our opening words are from Kenneth Patton. He was a minister here a long time ago. He wrote that song about our meeting house over there. And one of the lines, the rightness of a master's art. Does anybody know who the architect was for that building? All right, yeah, show of hands. Anyone know who the architect was? I adore you all so very much. Cleo, who's the architect? Frank Lloyd Wright, exactly. So Kelly and I have a story about Frank Lloyd Wright that we want to share with you today. One night, a mama rocked a baby in an old wooden chair. Someday, she whispered, you will build beautiful buildings. The baby smiled and cooed. He didn't know about beautiful buildings. He hadn't seen soaring skyscrapers or elegant museums, but someday he would learn. When the baby grew into a boy, his mother gave him gifts. Cubes, spheres, cones, pyramids, cylinders. The boy loved the smooth shapes. They felt soft against his fingers and heavy in his palm. It was fun to build them up and knock them down. He loved to stack them this way and that way and this. They could grow tall or wide, flat or round. The boy learned a secret. Every shape was many shapes. Do you know what that means? Every shape was many shapes. So our building over there, it is all built on, if you take, I can't really do it with my fingers. I should have brought blocks. Anybody have blocks in their pocket? Dave? Oh, no. It was a long shot, but if anybody, okay, help me out, Dave. A triangle. Okay, so if you make a triangle, and then Kelly, you make a triangle with your hands, and if we put those two triangles together, what do you get? A triangle and a triangle. You get a diamond? A diamond? Look, I'm totally looking at the Friends of the Meeting House people for confirmation of everything I'm saying. So if you are with someone or you don't mind turning to a stranger next to you, if you each take a triangle and put them together, you'll see that you make a diamond shape. There, put them together. Our whole building over there is built on that shape. So if you go over there and you look at the floor, you will see these shapes that are two triangles together. Like Dave's, oh, do you see Dave's lectern there? There's a top triangle. Thank you, Anne. Thank God for the Friends of the Meeting House. There's a triangle at the top and a triangle at the bottom, and when you put them together, you get that diamond shape. Whew, you're good. And that's what our whole building is built on. So you can take triangles and put them together. What happens if you take a square and you put them together? What do you get? A rectangle. So every shape is many shapes. That's what that means. Now, when he was older, the boy spent each summer on his uncle's farm. He worked hard from sunrise to sunset, but sometimes when no one was looking, the boy marveled at the great big world around him. He saw shapes everywhere he looked. He found an arch in the pathway of a frog, a cone inside the petals of a flower, a triangle in a spider's web, pyramid peaks of anthills, and perfect hexagons in an empty piece of honeycomb. Honeycomb, delicious. He saw the shiny sphere of the sun and the glowing circle moon. Thank you for singing about the moon this morning. Sometimes the boy hid in the tall grass, watching the weeds bend and sway, studying the shape of a bird's flight. He asked himself many questions. Did the sky have a shape? How many shapes were hidden in a tree? Raindrops made changing shapes, clear and cold. Lightning made jagged shapes, sharp and burnt. The river made smooth shapes, long and curved. The boy loved the shape of the world. He wanted to build buildings as amazing as the world around him. When the boy grew into a man, he became an architect. He worked hard from sunrise to sunset, but he never forgot the smooth weight of the blocks his mother had given him when he was a boy. He remembered the hills and prairies surrounding his family's farm. When other architects chose walls, he chose windows. When others set their buildings apart, his were one with the world around him. He built a house like a honeycomb, a museum, a honeycomb, a museum like a shell, and towers as tall and thick as trees. People from far and wide came to see his work. When they looked at his buildings, they imagined the rolling landscape of hills and felt the wide expanse of sky surround them. Like the boy, they too learned to love the shape of the world. And one night when the architect was an old man, he rocked back and forth in his mother's wooden chair. Her promise had come true. When he was a baby, he didn't know about beautiful buildings. He hadn't seen soaring skyscrapers or elegant museums, but he had learned. Someday had come and gone, and he had changed the shape of the world. Thank you for listening about Frank Lloyd Wright. We're going to stay right here, and we're going to listen to the choir.
And we are also going to sing about Frank Lloyd Wright. I'm kidding.
From the fire, living in the fire, go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water, go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living in the mountain, go back to the mountain, turn the world around.
is.
Oh, you can make the world so bright, and you can turn the day from night, and share your gifts through the light, and learn what you know, to know when you hear someone, to know when you smile, to know when you cheer someone. Love you. Warm inside, a hand that touches one in need, a gesture of any helping deed, and others like a scaring seed, for countless lives our world.
And now we will hear from Carol Stang on behalf of the FUS Foundation.
Good morning. I'm Carol Stang, and I'm the president of the FUS Foundation. I've got some really exciting news for you today. I'd like to tell you the story. In August of 1954, a young couple came to the brand new First Unitarian Society meeting house to be married. She was a chemist from Iowa, where she grew up on a family farm. Now she was a graduate student in physiological chemistry at UW-Madison. He was from Cleveland, Ohio, a newly minted graduate of the Columbia University Medical School, now interning at UW Hospital. They had completely different backgrounds, but music drew them together. First Unitarian Society was a perfect spiritual home for them to begin their lives as a couple. Stan and Shirley Inhorn were just the second couple married in what we now know as the Landmark Auditorium. The Reverend Max Gabler performed the ceremony. Over the next 70 years, Stan and Shirley remained steadfast and committed members of FUS. They raised their 3 children at FUS and served on countless committees and boards. They contributed their substantial musical and administrative talents, always with a keen eye and a dedicated heart. If you knew Stan and Shirley, you know they could always be counted on to show up joyfully, to do the work with integrity and insight. Stan and Shirley both passed away in 2025, just 1 week apart from one another. Their joint memorial service was held in the Landmark Auditorium on August 22nd of last year. Before their deaths, they created a plan to leave a gift to the FUS Foundation to provide ongoing support for FUS in perpetuity. On December 30th, 2025, the foundation received the final portion of the Inhorn's gift, which now totals $1.34 million. Per their wishes, the gift is, that's just stunning to me. Per their wishes, their gift has been split evenly to create 2 new funds. To honor Shirley's love of architecture and her long tenure as a tour guide of the Friends of the Meeting House, the Stanley and Shirley Inhorn Fund for the historic First Unitarian Society Meeting House will support the care and maintenance of our historic meeting house designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. To honor both Stan and Shirley's love of music, the Stan and Shirley Inhorn Music Fund will support our music staff, choirs, musicians who bring music and meaning to our weekly services, as well as to the broader community. The impact of this gift will be felt immediately, starting on July 1st, 2026, when we begin our new fiscal year. And because this gift will be invested and a portion of its value will be given to FUS each year, the Inhorn's gift will grow and benefit all of us for generations to come. To say that we are grateful for this gift is certainly an understatement. It reflects the values of a couple that believe deeply in Unitarian Universalist principles and in the significance of where and how we practice our faith here at FUS. It is their wish that we continue this work, and we will forever be grateful. If you have any questions about the in-horn gifts or about the FUS Foundation, I will be in the back after service, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. We also have a flyer that we would be happy to hand out that describes their gift in detail, as well as the other funds that FUS Foundation maintains. Thank you.
And now, in honor of the in-horns, please rise in all the ways that we do to join in singing hymn number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth, a hymn that meant a lot to them.
Our inspiration today comes from Max Gabler. Max gave a radio address on the 100th anniversary of the congregation, and these are his words. Above all else, a church is a community of people. Unlike a society which is organized for the limited purpose of promoting the economic welfare of its members, or to safeguard civil liberties, or to bring parents together to discuss their common interests, unlike all of these excellent but more limited societies, a church sets no limits on its scope, seeks always the most inclusive goals, and holds an ultimate concern for the whole venture upon which humanity is embarked. It values its members not as fellow workers or as parents or as citizens, but simply as people. It is a community which calls forth from its members the best that is in them, and in turn sustains and supports them in the face of the ever-present threat of loneliness. It seeks always for deeper levels of understanding, which will provide fresh perspectives from which to view its own life and the lives of individual members. It seeks ever for more inclusive purposes in terms of which its members can find more solid meaning for their own lives. It provides a thread of continuity through which its members feel themselves as links in a continuing chain of devotion and purpose, stretching far into the past and without limit into the future. It offers a sense of rootedness in a common past and nourishes common hopes for the future. It provides living evidence that no human life is absolutely unique, that the deepest temptations and anxieties to which the human spirit is subject have been and are shared by all people in all times. It will seek to provide, as Theodore Parker put it, truth for the mind, good works for the hands, love for the heart. In this conception of the church, we can immediately see its distinguishing marks. What distinguishes a congregation at a Sunday morning church service from an audience at a public lecture or concert is precisely this fact of community. The members of a congregation are not casual strangers who come together for a particular occasion, never to meet again, each concerned only for what they themselves can get from the speaker or performer. Rather, are they people who in varying degrees feel that they belong together. What happens at the service must reflect something of their common history, and what is said must reflect and reinforce the shared values of the group.
The role of the preacher is sometimes to introduce novel concepts or frameworks of belief, or to tell stories that may be unfamiliar to the people in the congregation. But at least as important to the craft of homiletics, the academic discipline of preaching, is the responsibility to remind the people of things that they already know, to reinscribe old stories or ideas so that they may be fresh again in the mind and in the heart, and so that the groove that they create in the soul may be worn just a bit deeper. On cyclical occasions, yearly holidays, or important milestones, such as the anniversary that we mark this weekend, this becomes even more important. It is a moment in time that we have literally been to before, the we of the congregation, even if some or even most of us individually are encountering it for the first time, which is all to say, don't stop me if you've heard this one. An old story about a traveler who was passing through the countryside and came upon a man with a hammer and a chisel cutting a hunk of granite into a clean, precise block. The traveler approached the man and, out of curiosity, asked what he was doing. "I am a stone cutter," he said, gruffly and very practically. "I am doing my job." Continuing on, the traveler met a second man engaged in much the same work as the first, smoothing out a large, rough piece of stone into something suitable for building with. He asked the same question and got this response and a beautiful smile. "I am working as a stone cutter to support my family." Last, the traveler came to a third man, chiseling away at a piece of stone just like the rest. "What are you doing?" he asked. The worker turned to the traveler, his face glowing with an expression that showed a deep harmony with all things, and replied, "I am building a cathedral, and I am cutting stone in order to do it." This story has been passed down and around enough and told in so many different ways that I couldn't find an original source for it. But it felt like the right place to start as we consider today this important milestone in the history of our own cathedral. 75 years ago and 5 days, the membership of the First Unitarian Society of Madison crowded into the hearth room, the low-ceilinged back quarter of their newly built sanctuary, for the first official service in their new spiritual home. They were squeezed into that space because the rest of the auditorium was still incomplete, to the point that it was unheated, and a temporary barrier had to protect the people from the worst of the elements. One of their own, the distinguished Professor Max Otto, gave the inaugural address that day. He drew his theme from an essay by Cornelia Comer about the struggle, as Max summarized it, to give quality to the things we possess rather than to strive to get possession of things which we hope will confer quality on us. He further distilled this as the question of whether we will, as individuals or as collectives, own or be owned by whatever it is that we have. Max Otto foresaw with crystal clear accuracy how many people would be drawn to this marvel, this new edifice in the decades ahead. As someone who spends at least a good part of nearly every day in this building on our campus, I can confirm his prediction. Curious souls do, in fact, peek through nearly every window. And they will make their way inside through any door, not properly locked and secured, at almost every hour of the day. But Max Otto reminded the congregation, and he reminded himself, that this magnificent new work of art was Frank Lloyd Wright's work of art, and not ours. Only the collective actions and choices of the First Unitarian Society of Madison could, in Otto's estimation, eventually serve to make that building truly ours, if we could prove ourselves worthy to own rather than to be owned by it. 3/4 of a century later, the same building Frank Lloyd Wright designed has been our spiritual home for more than half of the total history of this congregation's existence. What was new then is long established now. So I want to offer a somewhat different question than the one that Max Otto started us off with. Not to own or to be owned, but to home or to be homed. By which I mean, to what extent does this place, this physical space, shape us as the container into which we pour our spiritual community? And in what ways do we reshape the meaning of the stones, the glass, those blessed red floors? By the values, the ideas, the work, and the people that we bring into them. I mean this to be very different from Otto's question in that I don't intend one or the other of these two possibilities to be morally superior or inferior. Rather, I think it is important to examine when and how one principle or the other is more active. How our building contours our character as a community, and how our shared decisions determine the meaning of this place. In order to limit this inquiry for now, to fit into the time we have allotted today, I have chosen to focus on three concepts: harmony, beauty, and practicality. Yeah, it's coming, don't worry. First, harmony. Our meeting house emerges from the earth, much more than merely resting on it. From the inside of that building, especially, it has the feeling of a cave. I do not mean a deep, subterranean, lightless sort of cave. Rather, the low overhangs and the great abundance of glass give the feeling of an opening in a hillside or a cliff. Just the sort of natural shelter that a person wandering in the wilderness might be lucky to chance upon, offering relief from the elements, but remaining open to the bright light of day. The stone is local and hewn, but still rough in shape. And in large sections, the glass meets the stone with no framing for the windows. A major innovation in its day that arrived a little bit before the technology to properly make it work. This is a place that seeks a harmony with the natural world, to blend with it and to respond to it more than to impose upon it. Not to strike exactly the same notes as the landscape that we are situated in, but to offer new ones that fit among the old so that each resonates with the other. There are lessons in that structure for how we live inside of it. Lessons of cooperation and collaboration, and a tangible reminder of one of our central values as Unitarian Universalists: reverence for the interdependent web of all existence, and the deep appreciation that we are each a part of that web, too. But I also want to note what harmony is not, especially in this case. First of all, it is not static and unchanging. The evolution of our own building over time illustrates how that harmony with the earth, what that harmony with the earth looks like, can change radically over the years. When the meeting house was built, its integration with the landscape was entirely aesthetic. When the design of this, the atrium wing, came in, it was a dramatic update to this philosophy. And its solar panels and geothermal system pursues that same blending and responding, but not just in the world of appearances, but in facts. Harmony is also a very different thing from peace, at least if we mean by peace the absence of tension or conflict or struggle. Examine some of the stones in the walls of the meeting house, and you can see on them still scoring from where they were blasted free from the quarry wall. One of my favorite bits of lore about the stone haulers, that scrappy generation who put all the sweat equity that they could into the construction of the meeting house, is that they made the same sort of understandable amateur mistake in the process of hauling stone from the quarry to this location that I'm sure I would have made myself in their shoes. They overloaded the truck used to carry that stone to the point that it was still technically drivable in the short term, but wound up internally destroyed beyond that. Building harmony is a dynamic process that can be difficult and may require real struggle. Second, beauty. You have likely already heard others praise the beauty of the Meeting House more eloquently than I can. It is a captivating building and quite lovely to look at. But I want to focus on one dimension of this in particular. Along the line towards the rear of the sanctuary, where the low roof meets the high, these words are written. Do you have a loaf of bread? Break the loaf in two. Give half for some flowers of the narcissus, for the bread feeds the body indeed, but the flowers feed the soul. The quote on the Meeting House overhang seems to come from a bit of poetic wisdom that has floated around for at least a century in varied formulations with many different attributions. It has fascinated me since I first saw it because I immediately wanted to know where it came from, and no answer was readily available. I have spent more than 4 years working on this question, and at various points that took me down rabbit holes involving the Iranian poet Saadi Shirazi and the American writer James Terry White. But I believe I have an answer now, or at least most of one. So it seems unambiguous that the quote is there because Frank Lloyd Wright wanted it there. Wright was very fond of an essay by the Unitarian minister William Channing Gannett entitled The House Beautiful, which was published in 1895. Wright actually arranged to have a special limited edition of that text published with his own decorative artwork surrounding the words from Gannett. In that volume, Gannett, who was a very influential, progressive figure in the Unitarianism of Frank's childhood and early adulthood, ascribes this saying incorrectly to Muhammad. This is his exact quote in that text. If a man finds himself with bread in both hands, he should exchange one loaf for some flowers of the narcissus, since the loaf feeds the body indeed, but the flowers feed the soul. That seems so close to the quote that we have that I am satisfied our text could just be a recasting of Gannett's in order to fit the space on the wall or for other poetic reasons. I can't find any reference to the exact text, those precise words in that specific order that is on our wall, other than just other references to the Meeting House. It seems entirely unique to us as far as I can tell. Now, I just said that Gannett got the attribution wrong. I have looked in the Quran and in the Hadith, the sayings that are attributed to the Prophet Muhammad, and I am as confident as a person who does not speak fluent Arabic can reasonably be that nothing like that quote is to be found there. But Edward William Lane, in his translation of The 1001 Nights in 1840, attributes the following quote to Galen, the Greek physician and philosopher, on the authority of a Muslim scholar named Shamsuddin Muhammad al-Nuwaji in a book entitled Khalbet el-Kumayt. This is that quote. He who has 2 cakes of bread, let him dispose of one of them for some flowers of the narcissus, for bread is the food of the body, and the narcissus is the food of the soul. My theory, then, is that Gannett either read this particular English translation of The 1001 Nights and got confused in remembering the exact source of the quote, or that otherwise it winds back in some way via some more complicated game of telephone to that same document. As to whether or not it actually appears in the writings of Galen, I'm not sure. I have not found the definitive answer yet. I do not speak archaic Greek, but I'm working on it. The search continues. And while I am a curious fellow and sometimes inclined to over-research things, I think that the investigation is truly warranted in this case, because I believe this quotation summarizes something core to our ethos as a congregation: to cultivate beauty, to share it, to celebrate it. In architecture, yes, but also in music, in dance, in food, in flowers, in poetry. That devotion to soul nourishment has been a through line through many phases of our history. So I want to observe and to remind us that the cherishing of the flowers of the narcissus ought rightly to compel us to share their beauty freely and generously. And the pairing of those flowers together with the food that feeds the body should also give us cause to notice when anyone wants for bread, and to be just as generous as we might be with those flowers. We are at our best as a socially engaged community when we are responsive to both such needs, as they are forever intertwined. Now, finally, practicality. I know what some of you must be thinking. The foolish person in front of you has been going on for some time now about a Frank Lloyd Wright designed building. What can there possibly be to say in that context about practicality? Well, when I compare this work of Wright's to the others of his that I have had the opportunity to visit, it is the practical, functional, even the compromise details that set it apart. The plywood benches, the homemade curtain, the steel that Marshall Erdman snuck into the ceiling that likely saved the building, the flying wing that overhangs the former choir loft, a concession added after the fact to the acoustic needs of the room. Building the meeting house was a tremendous reach for this congregation at that time. It broke the bank and nearly fell apart before it could be brought to completion. But again and again, creativity and perseverance pulled things through, even if they did have to hold their opening service with the auditorium still exposed to the February cold. The lesson of this treasured heirloom, handed down to us year over year for 75 and counting, is to choose what is possible over what is perfect, and to scrabble and scrape and work like hell for what is possible. In his reflection on this same occasion, at the 50-year mark, Reverend Dr. Michael Schuler said, "I would like to think that Frank Lloyd Wright could have been taken at his word, and that he did not intend for an unchangeable monument to be built on the crest of University Bay Drive, occupied by a community of solemn curators. No, Wright meant for this building to be a vital expression of Unitarian values, and he hoped it would foster a congregation willing to put those values into play, both within and beyond these walls." Amen to that. Amen for another 25 and beyond. May we continue to change, to be shaped ongoingly by this spiritual home of ours, and to shape it by the ideals and the work and the people that we give home to here in this place. Sometimes harmoniously, sometimes beautifully, sometimes practically.
And I invite you now into this time of giving and receiving, where we give freely and generously to an offering which supports the ongoing work of this community, as well as the work of our outreach offering recipient, who this week is moving out. Their mission is to partner with people with disabilities, their families, and their allies to create and sustain community-integrated, safe, affordable homes. There's multiple ways to share your gifts. You can donate directly from our website. You'll see that on the screen along with our text to give information. And baskets will be passed here in the auditorium for your gifts as well. We thank you for your generosity and for your faith in this life we create together. Each week we gather, bringing with us the joys and the losses of our days. We share them here knowing they are held in care and in support. We light a candle of love and support for all who are hurting this day. For the ones who feel alone or isolated or afraid. For the ones whose hearts are heavy with the deep weight of grief or pain. On days that seem cold, may you feel the warmth of community holding you and the arms of love supporting you. And we light a candle for all that lives in our hearts, the joys and the sorrows mingled together. May we know that we are loved. If you will join us now in a moment of prayer and contemplation with these words from Maureen Killeran. Blessed is the ground on which we stand. Holy is this place. Holy are the places of memory, the places which have formed us, where we store the icons of success and shattered dreams, and gather threads and pieces of what we would become. Holy are the places of memory. Holy are the places of the dream, the places over the rainbow where all children are wanted and all people are fed, where colors are the source of celebration and youth and age come to the table as one. Holy are the places of the dream. Holy are the places of change and pain, the places of our struggle, where the rivers of our lives run white and fast, and we hold on and grow. Holy are the places of change and pain. Holy are the places of connection, the places where we risk ourselves, where hands, touch souls, touch minds, and in awareness still, we change our lives. Holy are the places of connection. Holy are the places of becoming, the places of clear vision, where life and world are intertwined and we can see forever in this moment and give thanks. Holy are the places of becoming. Blessed is the ground on which we stand. Holy and whole-making is this place. May we be in silence together for a moment. Amen. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
Our closing hymn is number 9. Please join us in singing, No Longer Forward Nor Behind. And you can stand if you wish. No longer forward nor behind, I look in hope or fear. But grateful take the good I find, the best of now and here. I break my pilgrim staff, I lay aside the toiling oar. The angels sought so far away, I welcome at my door. For all the jarring notes of life seem blending in a song, and all the angles of its strife surrounding into calm. And so the shadows fall apart, and so the west winds play. Give now the windows of my heart I open to the day. Our benediction today comes from Abi Janamanchi, another former minister of this congregation. This is Abi's list of reasons why people join a Unitarian Universalist church. To be part of a sanctuary, to affirm a personal identity and be accepted for who we are as we are, to prevent our children from being, as the Reverend John Wolfe said, saddled with guilt or terrified of some celestial peeping Tom, to be in a religion that is this worldly, concerned more about life before death, to be part of a religion that calls no one a sinner, yet is deeply aware of the struggle for wholeness within the human heart, to live in a way that says you need not think alike to love alike, for love has no boundaries nor barriers. Blessed be, go in peace, and please be seated for the postlude.